What's happening, everybody? Pragmatic Addict here. Oh my god, does that feel fucking great to say. It feels weird, but it feels fucking great. So I have been out for, I want to say like roughly 2 weeks. The last video I did was of Tar with Cate Blanchett. And I was saying like during that video that I was going to be like taking a little bit time away to like recuperate and everything. I was on vacation, and then when I got back, we were going to be going in once November hit. Yeah, when I came home, I got sick. Like, we're talking COVID sick. I got sick. But I stated a few days ago that I was, feeling a little bit better, that I was going to be returning on November 11th, the day that the Friendship game released. I was still a little bit sick, so I put it off till today. Oh my god. Now, this is a cursed horror film. It's got that cursed object genre to it. But goddamn, is this movie actually fucking cursed? There was a reason why I just wasn't getting to this fucking film. Yeah, so from the title, I could not finish this movie. So this has never happened to me at all through the course of me having this channel, doing reviews. There's never been a movie where I had to stop because it was so fucking awful. Now, so what's interesting is like, this film actually started, like, fine in my eyes. Like, I was like, I'd say, like, maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes into this movie, and I was like, oh shit, am I going to be the only positive review for this movie? Oh shit. But I do got plenty to talk about, guys, so let's just get right into it. So, yeah, the Friendship game. So this game released on VOD the other day, and, like, literally nobody is fucking seeing this movie. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's like, when you release a movie like the same day as Wakanda Forever, you're kind of asking for it. But me choosing the horror genre 99% of the time over superhero films, hey, I'm like, I got you. I'm sick in bed, I gotta watch this from home. We'll review the Friendship game. Okay, yeah, as far as reviewing this movie, let's just see what we can do here. So the Friendship game plot reads as follows. Teens in a small town come across an object with mysterious cosmic powers and a baffling sort of consciousness. Over the course of a night, the object tests their loyalties and unravels a mystery about their missing friend. So this film starts like right off the bat. Our more main character, I think her name is Zuza or whatever, some fucking name. There's some weird ass names for like the fucking kids in this movie. There's one named Cotton, there's one named Court, this one's name is Zuza, and there's just Rob with a fucking Oliver Tree haircut. So this film sets up pretty immediate, where the first scene we actually see our main character at a yard sale, and it kind of resembles like the setup of that film The Possession, the one that came out like, I don't know, a decade ago with Modest Yahoo, where like the little girl's at the yard sale and then she finds the Dybbuk box. It kind of sets up like that. This girl's just like rummaging through this yard sale, which of course there just has to be a cryptic, creepy old woman there who's like clear as day too. It's like the middle of the day. There's plenty of other people at this yard sale, and she's telling this girl like, oh yeah, that's the Friendship game. She's telling him that like over the course of the night, this object will test like this girl's like friendship with like her best friends and like their loyalties, and either all of them survive or they all die throughout the night. It's just clear as day to this teenage girl in the middle of a fucking yard sale with plenty of other people. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a fuck if this is from the producers of Mandy or Color Out of Space or a producer of The Witch. This, just from here, just from this like intro, this film looked like it was steering in every cliche teen cursed object film direction. Like, I'd go as far as to say that like, even by just like the trailer and like just the setup with the two initial friends that it like shows us right off the bat, it was actually like giving me vibes of like the Slenderman movie, which, hate me if you want, fine. I actually don't think that movie's that bad. But the film felt like very reminiscent of that, just again based off of these like two characters, as well as like the cloudy like tone of the movie, as well as just what the trailer was showing, like this like one of the friends ends up going missing, and that kind of sets everything off into a spiral. But like, you know, in saying all this still was just the intro of the movie, and I will say, for a cursed object teen horror film, this was a pretty interesting idea. I think enough as far as like, you know, a movie being in this vein. Like, as far as originality goes, this was a more interesting premise. But this movie does start very immediately, not only with the setup, but even going to like the next scene where we actually do see the kids now sitting, doing the friendship game. And I will say this at least, teenagers in horror films are very easy to bag on. But these ones I actually found like much more tolerable, at least initially. They're not overly goofy or like overly decked out with their styles or constantly like cracking cringe one-liners. They're just these teens, this group of like best friends trying to spend like one last summer together before they all go to college. And they're just trying to like end the summer off with a bang. And yeah, like initially I didn't really have any complaints with these kids. But going a little bit further on with the movie, I don't know if I'd actually call this a criticism. I guess it was something that rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't really know how to feel about it. Personally, initially, anyways, it felt very out of place, to say the least. And I'll talk about what this is a little bit later on, because it is something that occurs throughout the movie, and it is something that becomes a bigger factor to the film. But basically, when these kids start playing this game, the rules are to reveal your most deepest desire. And what I liked about this initially is how it was actually handled. So this film actually tells this group of kids' stories in like chapters. You see them kind of going on their own journeys and experiences based off of their responses to this object. And initially, like, at first, how the film kind of like depicts this route, I wasn't really too sure like if I was going to be on board with it. This still does feel like your, typical cursed object teen horror film. And, like some of the shit that like the characters say, even just like initially, even with me like liking most of the characters, it still comes off in that vein. And even like, while this film is told more, specifically in chapters, there is like little intermissions, we'll call it, in between chapters where we get like character development of some characters, like relationships with other friends that are a little bit different than other relationships with this group of friends. And like at times it does feel like it was really trying to do like the character development like route, or it was just trying to flesh it out a little bit more, while the chapters might be the more thickness of the story. But then there are times where it just seems like they're trying to like just almost like do this shit for the sake of like shock value. Like for example, the first like intermission in between like the characters chapters, we see a couple of the characters, and I'm like, oh, okay, like it's going down a route where I see where it's where it's going, as far as like, displaying some subject matter, as well as like, again, just a personal relationship between these two, aside from the rest of the characters. But then it just goes down a route where I'm just like, okay, did we really need that? Like was that really the point of this? So you could do that of all things with it? Like I was saying earlier, where I wasn't really sure if I was actually fully on board, where bad things and horrors and even psychological aspects start taking a toll very fast. And I just didn't think that it was very well paced. But I will say, like, I did start to feel like my opinion kind of changing, because once I started realizing that this was set up, because where this story really gets going is that while they're playing this game, one of the characters ends up going missing. That's when everything spirals. So once I realized that was kind of like, the setup piece, and that's kind of where the film was supposed to be picking up, I kind of, leaned back a little bit and, wanted to see how shit was going to play out. And again, this movie is told through the course of one night, where this group of friends, they play this game, and then they're all in the same setting. And that's what I really liked about this, is that it didn't go down the route where it just, shows like each character's own bullshit throughout the night, where they're in their own setting, doing their own thing, and just horror things are just randomly happening, throughout the night to each person just whenever. What I liked is that it shows the perspective of each character while they're in the same setting at this like party, and we're seeing each character's kind of, we'll call it symptoms based off of this object. And again, going back to how in between these characters chapters, how it'll kind of like just do some regular character development, I liked the idea of that. I liked that it wasn't just showing the reactions and the results of this cursed object. I like that they were actually not just trying to show random chapters of a story, but they're actually doing things in between to kind of show more character study, to kind of flesh it out more. I think that is very necessary, but the overall execution of these moments just felt very fucking stupid. Now, as the film goes on a bit, what I was saying earlier about how one of the, characters goes missing, once that actually is addressed and becomes front and center, is when we really start getting our first taste of actual fucking nonsense in this movie. How the other characters start reacting and I guess changing because of this situation, and how the horror side of things is displayed, how that's all handled. It gets really damn goofy. There's this detective that gets thrown into the mix, and she's your, typical just stupid detective. She's very judgmental. She comes off very hostile and just kind of blaming, our main character because it's our main character. And even just the pacing as far as these characters being affected by this, situation and this game. Yeah, I don't want to leave that out because the movie actually does that. There's I'm just gonna say it really quick. I ended up making it to I want to say the hour-ish point of this movie, and within 30 minutes of this movie, maybe even less, the movie really starts pushing the friendship game aspect of the movie aside. So I don't want to leave that out. But even the pacing with that really just starts to fucking fall and just really lose its streak of what was actually a pretty solid initial setup. Also, things for me anyway began to escalate in a very unfocused manner. They just begin to escalate very quickly, very randomly, very just kind of without reason. And with all this going on, the film really starts to kind of seem like it's losing focus with who and what it actually wants to focus on at certain times. And this is where this video really comes to play. There was a time, it was probably about now, with everything going on, this point in the movie where I really just stopped giving a shit about this film. And it sucks because this film, again, the first 20 minutes or so, maybe 15 tops, I was like, wow, am I going to be the only positive review for this movie? It's actually not bad. It's an interesting enough setup. These characters don't completely suck right now. Hey, I thought Slenderman was fine. Maybe this movie I'll think is fine too. Because what's funny is once this film actually gets going, it doesn't. What shit is actually front and center, and it should be where the film really takes off and becomes what it is when everything just fucking falls apart. The premise of, or concept of this game and movie is that with the friendship game, this thing starts testing this circle of friends' loyalties and kind of turning them against each other. And if one of them dies, if something, happens to them during the course of the night, then they all die. And that's very misleading because, again, this isn't a spoiler, it's in the trailers, and this is, what really sets up the movie, is that after they play this game, one of these characters ends up going missing. And that's when the film, again, really attempts at, its pickup. But there are things that happen, between these friends, and just things that escalate, and some of it is because of, yes, this situation of their friend going missing, but it doesn't really seem like there's even a curse at play. It's more of this friend goes missing, and then all these friends just start, there's just all this drama as to why that happened. This film was, again, I'm gonna just say it, I have never, in the course of the 3 years on this channel, been all right, I'm gonna review this movie, and then I can't finish it. And again, this movie is less than 90 minutes, and I actually liked a quarter of it. But goddamn, bro, that 45-minute mark, I was feeling it. And so, this is where I got to in the movie, so I'm just gonna say kind of what ended up happening from what I saw, because I did see a good portion of it. Again, I saw maybe 60 minutes of this movie. There was 25 or some shit minutes left. So basically throughout the movie, from what I saw, is there's this kid, an actual kid. His name was Kyle, from what I gathered. And he, throughout the movie, I was trying to keep this away because of spoilership, and nobody's gonna fucking watch this movie. No one's gonna like this movie. No one's gonna fucking finish this movie. But this kid Kyle is while they're playing the game, we keep seeing it from the course of a camera with this little kid watching them, and I don't know fucking how I didn't end up seeing how that resulted, but it just lost me. That's what I was talking about earlier, where something just felt very fucking out of place that I was going to talk about later. And it didn't add up. And while, after this, after I'd say like the 45-minute mark where shit really started falling apart and this whole like idea of the friendship game, this object kind of like got more pushed to the side, they do bring that back in more, where they're trying, like there's this one scene where they attempt at playing it, all the characters aside from the one that went missing, and they're saying their most deepest desires, which is, where is our friend, blah blah blah. And then shit just starts happening, and I don't know why. One of them mentions like, well, we can't go back and play the game, and it's like, okay, well, how did you know this, and why are you fucking trying then? Like, and it was so hard because while I was like watch this movie, I was like thinking of like things I wanted to mention in the review, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll still stick through this movie. It's not even that long of a movie. There's only 40 minutes left or whatever, 20 minutes. I'll just talk about the shit that catches my attention, and nothing was catching my attention. It was just getting fucking worse and worse. So yeah, this movie is not good. It does start off fine, even better than most cursed object teen horror films, like just movies in this vein. The characters are better initially. It's a more interesting premise, but there is so much to this film. This kid who's like spying on him throughout the movie that they're trying to be cryptic about. This whole like mystery surviving this like character missing. This cursed object, which by the way, oh, that reminds me, it says that it takes place over the night. Yeah, there's like several days that occurred during this movie. So I just realized that right now. I must have not even fucking thought about it because I just didn't give a shit. But there is just so much to this film that they tried to do. They tried to up this ante and make this so, like so much of a handful and just this variety of horror in this movie. And it's like, look, just if you're gonna make a cursed object horror film, just do that. From the beginning, it looks like they had it. I'm like, okay, shit. Well, I mean, it's different enough. Again, these characters are better. Hey, just give us what this is. This is, okay, I'm interested. And then they tried to do literally everything in this movie, and it just didn't work. It lost me so, and that's what's so bizarre to me, is that this is not a long movie. And, a good chunk of it I was fine with. But I'm just surprised at how fast and how like wildly that just escalated and how much I fucking didn't care about this movie. So yeah, guys, I mean, it's great to be back doing a video, but I was not expecting this to go down this route. But yeah, this gets a negative review from me. But yes, guys, that is going to do it for my review, I guess you could call it, of the friendship game. My next review will be The Menu. I am going to be going to an early screening of this film on the 15th. It comes out on the 18th, so look forward to that, guys, but it is great to be back. Oh my god. Again, I was in Vegas and, for Halloween, and I was going to do this whole vlog up there. I went to the Haunted Museum again. I went to, like, a couple of escape rooms that were, like, Blair Witch and Saw themed, which were very cool. I actually got, like, some photos of that. We weren't allowed to take, videos during the escape room, obviously. So, like, with me, like, wanting to recuperate while I was up there, like, realizing, okay, well, I might want to, like, step back a little bit for a few days, and then, getting sick and not even being able to record shit, I was gonna come back and just do these videos. But man, for my welcome back video, this is talk about something different. But yes, guys, I will see you guys next in my review of The Menu. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Sorry I couldn't finish the movie. I still wanted to talk about it, still wanted to, deliver on my promise of reviewing this film for what I could. But it just didn't do it for me, and I don't think it's doing it for really anybody. So yes, guys, I will see you in my review of The Menu. It is great to see you guys again. It is great to be back. Let me know what you thought about the video down below, guys. I'll talk to you soon, and I hope you guys are having a great night. Take care.